All right, here we go. Yes, indeed, Glenn. Looks like you are absolutely the first one here. Hey, Chrome. Good to see you. I was streaming late today. I wasn't sure if you'd still be up or not. Well, let's see. Again, it's 5 hours, right? Oh, we push our clocks forward tonight, but for it's 5 hours right now, Chrome. Right? Our differences, so it'd be almost. I had to think about it. Almost 10 there. I guess it's not as late as I thought. Hi, Ashy. And Mister. Oh, broke your foot skiing? Yeah, that's what I figured. Almost 10. Okay. Oh, that sucks. That's why I don't do any winter sports because I would just freaking hurt myself. There's no doubt about it. Probably not. Any more red versus blue? No. No, probably not. Hi, Jill. And Verloth and The Quest and John Ham. Austin's in. When did I join? And Austin, I'm not sure what you're saying. When did I join what and start watching wrestling? I started watching wrestling when I was 5. So in the neighborhood of 1966, around there. I'm not sure what you mean. Join what? I don't know what a mingy is, Licks. I have no idea. Your minge? that one's beyond me. I don't know that one. Oh, it works out well. You only finished work a few hours. Oh, okay, cool, Chrome. What's the square root of pi? More pi. Because in fairness, you did spell it P-I-E, Erwin. As long as there's pi involved. Not concerned about whether I get the answer right or not. Oh, chat's no longer broken for you? Cool, Chrome. That's good. Hereby Fate says, how much you bench? I couldn't even tell you anymore, my friend. I don't generally, once in a while, I'll go to max, but mainly my shoulders, believe it or not, my shoulders are both trash, especially the left one. So just not to risk injury so I can't work out, I generally don't go max. I can do 2.25, maybe 5 times. I know it's sad from the old days, but probably about that. But like I said, I don't max right out. I still haven't found that switch Chrome. In fairness, I haven't had time to look. Well, I did look one day in one area. I can't even think of where to look next. Well, my wife is gone right now. It's just me and the giant dinosaur dog in the house. And my wife's in New York with Nene, with my stepdaughter. And so it's just me. I'll have to. I don't know what we did with it. Matthew says, which is better, Has Been Hotel or Hell of a Boss? 6 of one, half dozen of another there. They're both really good. I mean, they're both excellent, so. Excuse me. My go-to sandwich still? Do you count breakfast sandwiches? Because breakfast sandwiches are my favorite. That's pretty much an everyday thing. I have a, Jimmy Dean makes this breakfast sandwich that's kind of lean too, because it's and yeah, it's an English muffin, egg, turkey sausage, and American cheese. But it comes frozen, so I just peel that fucking American cheese off and throw it away with great disrespect. So that's my favorite sandwich, or breakfast sandwiches of that nature. Matthew says, which do you think is the best web cartoon? Why? Happy Tree Friends, Ed's World, or Camp Camp? I have not seen the entirety of any of them, so I couldn't tell you. Conversationosaurus Rex says, did you ever have the opportunity to go to the big leagues in wrestling, and if so, what happened? I, yes and no. You tell me if this counts as opportunity. Back when I first broke in, it was 81, I think. I lived in New Mexico. I went over to San Antonio, Texas to try out with a big organization. For those of you who know Tully Blanchard, it was his dad's organization, Joe. Great. I love Joe. Not big fan of Tully's. Love Joe. While I was there, Joe explained to me how, at that level, you're on the road 300 days a year. And as much as I loved wrestling, I hemmed, I hawed, but I really, really have always been family-centric. And it's like, nah, I'll just stay in the indies and stay close to my family. Excuse me, guys. This is Spaz Kid. I just got to respond to him real quick. But I'll be right back to the chat. I just don't like to leave Spaz Kid hanging. Where did I put that? Okay, sorry guys. Connor says, "What was the hardest wrestling match I ever fought in my career?" I don't. And again, you got to be specific by hardest. Most serious injuries, most blood loss, most pain I was in afterwards. Even then, it'd be hard to break down. Probably the if you're talking one individual shot, the stiffest shot I ever took was with a manure shovel. And the guy I was working even said, "Oh, I don't think we should use this, dude." I was like, "No, it'll be fine." The guys in the back said it just sounded like a baseball bat against a melon. I took a nap. I went to sleep for a little bit. And of course it's wrestling, so I woke up and I finished the match, but that was stiff. Red Wolf says, "Curtis v. Red Wolf in 2024 after I heal." I would not be stepping foot in the ring unless I trained for a good several months first. I would, whether my body could take the beating or not, I could force it to. But I will not put on a shit match, and I don't have the lungs to put on a decent match right now. Boy, I'm getting texts left and right. Oh, it's my granddaughter. And her, that's awesome. Sorry, guys. What was my finisher in wrestling, Fong Fam? I used a few. I really liked the bellyache because I was doing it before I saw anybody else do it. It was just, that's the reverse power slam. And so you would just pick them up. Their back is on your shoulder and face bump them, slam them forward. That was the bellyache. And I also used the punchline. Punchline was just where I would hook left arm to right arm, hook them under the arm, hold them in place, and it was like a palm heel heart punch strike. We've done Would You Rather streams, FX Guy, a long time ago. We have done them. Mr. Croissant says, "What's a road rage moment you've had?" When have I been driving when I didn't have one would be the better question to ask. I'm not a patient driver. Not at all. And I will say this for myself, though, and it's probably just for all the years of professional driving. I'm a very attentive driver. I stay focused on driving, even my brain damage, which surprises me. And I know all the laws, all the rules of the road. So it really pisses me off that other people don't. Glenn says, "Hey, Curtis, what's your favorite ice cream brand and your favorite flavor from said ice cream brand?" I don't know. Let me think. I don't know if I have a favorite brand. How about this? My favorite ice cream treat, maybe that'll answer it, are those goddamn Mickey bars in Disney World. Those things are amazing. Paul's out amazing. Chrome, I don't even think I told you about those. I don't know, Chrome, did you get a chance to get one while you were there? Oh, they're so good. Chrome says, "Hardest as in what was the most homoerotic?" Yeah, actually, I think I know the answer. Is one where we made the guy laugh. That was Snooka. Yeah, Jimmy Snooka. I made a lot of guys. That was one of the fun things to do, is try and make your opponent break up. But yeah, with Jimmy, it was great to make a legend laugh like that. He was punching me hard in the fucking head, though, to get me to shut up. Fucking stung. My eyes are spinning. It was still fun. Hawaiian Ice says, "Hey, Curtis, are you a fan of football or sports?" Yes, yes, very much. Cool Dude says, "The Underdesk treadmill is the best investment I made in my fat loss journey." That's cool. I've heard of those. That's a neat concept. I spend way too many hours just sitting my fat ass down here, which is why it's hard to get in any kind of shape. That I've heard about those. Those are pretty cool. Alpha says YouTube reversing its cursing policy is a win for my favorite content creators this month. Doing a good job, Charlie, my man. Yes, yeah, it is. They just, if YouTube could just get out of their own way once in a while, if they didn't overreact to everything, they wouldn't have to correct later. But we all know how that goes. Why nice? Did you know Bud Grant passed away at 95? No, I didn't. Bud Grant, for those of you who don't know, was legendary football coach of the Vikings, correct? Head coach. Chrome says, I can't remember if you told me about Mickey bars, but I did have one. The one shaped like the silhouette of his head. Yes, I love those. The chocolate is perfect. The ice cream is, oh, it's so freaking good. Stalit says, do you think you would have liked One Piece as a child? No doubt. No doubt. I was never a big into pirates. Still am not. That's one of the things when I was first getting into it. It's like, I don't know. But had I started watching it, yes, I absolutely would have liked it. My taste in entertainment hasn't really changed, and it sounds like a joke, but it's true. Hasn't changed much since I was a kid. I still prefer cartoons to most any type of live produced entertainment, and it's cartoons and sports. So really, most everything I liked I like now I would have liked as a child. Otis Taylor too. Jeez. That's a shame. I remember Otis Taylor. Bruno says, do you know how to play an instrument or have you ever tried? I do not. And yes, I had a good friend, my best friend. I told you guys the ghost story. My friend that involved my friend John, I say ghost, but the one unexplained phenomena I've experienced. That friend was an excellent pianist, keyboardist. So he tried to show me how. Now, for my height, I have extremely long fingers, big hands. They're sausage fingers, but they're long. And so he was all excited. He was going to show me. And the first thing he had me do is spread my fingers out across the keyboard. And he goes, oh, look at the reach. This is going to be great, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, these things have no dexterity and no coordination at all. So no, I was not good at it, which is a shame because I've always loved music. Ashley says, what 80s cartoons you like best? That would be tough, Ashley. I'd need a list only because I'm so old, my memory is so shit. I can't place the cartoons in the proper decades. It's easier for you young folks who've only lived through a couple, 3 decades. For me it all meshes together, 70s, 80s, 90s. So I would kind of need a list to be able to pick one out. Chrome says they were good, though I'm kind of spoiled since I've had proper ice cream and milkshakes from a farm a number of times. Oh, farm fresh ice cream? I've had it too. I wasn't a fan, though. It's funny you say that, Jill. She says, what did you eat today? What are you having for dinner? I ate my breakfast sandwich that I described. For lunch, I just had a bowl of cereal. And for dinner, because I'm here alone, I've told you guys, you do not want to eat anything I cooked. I don't even attempt it. So I went out early and bought myself a frozen pizza. 400 degrees in the oven, 20 minutes. That I can handle. That's going to be dinner as soon as I get done here. Hi, Curtis. David says, what are your thoughts on social media? Net positive or net negative to society? Now, let me preface this by saying I am a big technology nut. I'm a big believer in it. But as far as net, clearly a net positive. There's no question to me. This country and the world would not be in the vitriolic state it's in right now if it weren't for social media. There's no doubt about that. Chrome says, come on, Curtis, we all know your favorite was Johnny Quest. Jeez, that cartoon sucked ass. It was so bad. And at the time, I was just a kid, and I didn't even realize how overtly racist it was. It was just stupid besides. Haji. God, it was such a dumb cartoon. Let's see. Austin says, favorite match, Taker or Kane Taker? I like the Brothers of Destruction feuds, Kane Taker. Yeah, I eat those frozen TV dinners sometimes, Glenn. Yeah, I eat them. Some of them are good. It depends on which one. Alzy says it's my mom's birthday soon. What should I get for her? She's single, by the way, and has been with me since day one. It's impossible to say, pal. I mean, without knowing somebody at all. Because if I get a gift, I like to be kind of personalized. So I really don't know. Was my favorite meal, Jamie? Depends on mood. Pizza's probably my favorite food, but, well, let me put it this way. If we go someplace new and we're going out to eat or something, my favorite things to do are try a new pizza or try a new burger. Excuse me. So I guess that would put them as my favorites. That and Harvey's roast beef sandwiches. Well, the alleged roast beef sandwiches. They say that's roast beef in there. Sure, let's go with that. Grin says, would you work for AEW on their 1 day a week schedule? Would I have? Yeah, back in the day, that I would have done. Yeah. Hawaiian Ice says, what was your favorite toy? It would come down to one of two things. It was either my baseball cards. I was a fanatic for baseball cards, or my comic books. When I was a kid, I was a collector of both. And I would just spend hours either reading the comics, going through, sorting my baseball cards. I mean, just anything to interact with them. And and you have to remember, too, that was, my day was way before video games. Now, that might have trumped all, but didn't have them back then. Thomas says, why are you a fan of Notre Dame? Really odd, I guess kind of an odd reason, Thomas. I had just recently discovered pro football. I remember that. I was 5, 6, I guess. I remember distinctly walking through my living room on a Saturday afternoon, had to be a Saturday, and a Notre Dame game had come on the TV. And I looked over to see it, and it was a beautiful day, gorgeous sun on that brilliant stadium, and these dudes in gold helmets came running out on the field, and I was like, what the fuck is that? And in the backdrop was Touchdown Jesus, and the crowd's going wild and screaming and yelling and bam, 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 bam. I'm like, this is the greatest fucking thing I've ever seen. And now I've been a Notre Dame fan ever since. Jill says, what are your thoughts on drag queen storytelling in schools for minors? I don't see the purpose of it. I'm not against the storytelling. The other things, I just made one of the podcast episodes is about specifically that. The performances that I've seen them doing in front of kids, no, I don't. And you know me, guys, I am far anything from prudish or certainly not religious at all. I just don't think it's appropriate, even a little bit appropriate. And I think the parents are to blame more than the drag queens. Again, I don't see the need for drag queen story time. Is it hurting anybody? I guess not. Yeah, Big Green definitely was a podcast topic. Oh, and I meant to take, because you guys are the ones who inspired this. Now, there's only a few of us in here today. It's, of course, Saturday afternoon. We've talked a long time about an OnlyFans. That would be my final. I've set up my podcast. I've got that working. We obviously got the channel, the Goose. These are all the things I like to do with entertainment. I'm actually thinking about finally setting it up. What it would be is, of course, sexy pictures of this, but it would be reviews of hentai and porn reviews and dark jokes as far as videos, and a lot of other way too hot for any of the other platform types of entertainment. Now, again, this idea came from you guys initially. Is that still something any of you would be interested in? And I got a fun thing I'm going to do for, and I'll tell you about it. Let me read Willy's post. I got a fun introductory video I'm going to make for it. Willy says, how does one turn off attraction? There's a girl in my class I want to ask out, but I'm far too busy for a relationship. I don't know that there's a way to do that, Willy. I mean, other than the only way I would know of is just setting your mind to it. I mean, you're not going to be able to tell yourself that she's not attractive, because obviously that's not your core belief. It's just going to have to be a focusing as best you can away from that. Let's see. Farts in a jar. Yeah, okay. But you guys focus, cold shower, focus on your work. Yeah, that's true too, Chrome. I was thinking that too, Big Green. I might put Bible Black in it. Um, it would just it would just be for fun. And the the intro video or the I don't know what you'd want to call it, the homepage video. I would just explain to people how, for those in a relationship where the other partner in the relationship does not approve of watching a lot of titties, whether it's guy, girl, whatever your relationship status is, this is the perfect way. Come watch with me. If you get caught, what you do is you tell them, "Oh yeah, there's titties there, but I just this old weird guy. He's kind of funny. So I just like to listen to the stupid shit he says, and I like to laugh at him. I'm not looking at the titties at all. It's just this old. It's the same thing that Playboy did. Playboy used to be the pinnacle of porn. So they actually hired brilliant authors, writers, and wrote lots of great articles. That was so you could tell your significant other, hey, I just bought that because there's this great article on Bart Starr. It's not to look at the titties. So that's what the crux of ours will be. Jester says, a man beat two vegans with two raw steaks at a vegan restaurant, screaming, "How can you have pudding if you don't eat your meat?" How can and Jester, as soon as I read that, you wrote that, you have to hear it in that voice. How can you have any pudding if you don't eat your meat? Chrome says, Bible Black, Boku no Pico, Overfiend, I don't know that one. Cannibal Holocaust, Best Good Secret Sex Tape. Christian Oh yeah, it'll be, like I say, it will be entertainment that I wouldn't even post on Patreon, because that, the Goose is very well. The Goose supports everything we do. I need to have the Goose going, and some of that stuff it goes far enough that even Patreon might get a little antsy about it. So it will be fun. It will be bawdy. And if it does well at all, if we get any number of people signing up for it, I'll put it at the cheapest you can charge is $5. I'm going to put it at $5. If we get any significant number over there, I will also be bringing in like online sex workers and stuff like that, bringing them virtually into it and interviewing them, and you'll see. Alpha says, thoughts on AI taking over most sectors of society. Do you think we'll be able to integrate it into people's lives without it making people's jobs obsolete and taking away their source of income? Well, that's kind of a $1 million question, Alpha. Do we find that balancing act? We've talked about this before. I'm going to be doing a podcast on that soon too. But that podcast I'll do here as a live stream, so you guys will get to be a part of it. And that's the big question. How far will AI go? In other words, as we touched on this before, if you teach an AI, because the long-standing defense has always been, well, they have to be programmed by a human. But if you can teach an AI to draw its own conclusions, if drawing its own conclusions is part of its programming, can they go nuts on you? And further into your question, will the allure of cheap labor, in other words, you buy one robot and it works for you for the next 100 years, be so much that it overwhelms our means of production? I don't know. Cool Dude says, Iran and Saudi Arabia set to restore severed relations after Chinese mediation. We'll see. The Middle East, you never have a lot of high hopes for any lasting peace. Philip says, did you hear that Trudeau's in trouble again? CSIS found out that the CCP donated significantly to 11 Liberal candidates. and intimidated Chinese living in Canada to vote for Trudeau. Wow. Trudeau being in trouble makes me happy. You guys know how I feel about Trudeau. Don't like him at all. Justin says, do you plan on uploading reactions to DBZ? I know you did the first several episodes. Just curious if you plan on bringing it back. Also, more Cyanide and Happiness. Probably some more Cyanide and Happiness. DBZ would come back if it would just be a matter of if people were interested. I was really shocked. It's funny how the channel has, I mean, things are great guns with anime at the Goose, at our Patreon, but at the channel, it just doesn't seem like, I don't know how the interest fell off. Now, it could be too, as I'm learning more and more, I'm still on the hunt to try and figure everything out with the way YouTube does things. A lot of what they say I'm finding out is bullshit. Maybe when I post anime, they just don't send out enough notifications for people to find out. But of the 300,000 subscribers we have, I know a lot of them came in the era of Naruto and things of that nature, so they were anime fans. I don't know. I just have no idea. Favorite song of all time? Oh, I don't know if I have just one, Austin. I have always loved Viva la Vida. But I've got a lot of them. I love most anything Queen did. That's my favorite band of all time. And a lot of it depends on mood for me too. You know, what happens to be my favorite at a given time. Let's see. Big Green says, speaking of AI, hi, Lavery. Yep. Help me figure out what the name of a PS1 demo disc was that was nostalgic to me, was using AI. Really? Hi's good with that shit. Hi's good with tech. Chrome says, the scary thing is if you go through Kiwi Farms, I'm sure you could find one of the many, many tapes of Chris Chan. He once posted one involving a cyst that nearly killed him, apparently. Ew. Yeah, it's funny. As cringy as it is, I look forward to that episode every month. We have the documentary on Chris Chan is sponsored for us over at the Goose. So it's once a month episodes. And it's like the proverbial car wreck. You can't look away. As disturbing as it is, you're just like, I got to see another episode. I have only seen the very minimal amounts of Undertale and Cuphead, Matthew. I tried them both out, but that was it, and that was a long time ago. Christy says, would you ever spend the night in a pyramid in Egypt? Oh, I can't see myself. Nothing against Egypt. It's just not high on my list of places I would want to see. Are you talking about the fear factor? I wouldn't be afraid to do it, no. But I couldn't see me going out of my way to do it. If I was able to travel internationally, Japan's at the top of my list, and then a bunch of places in Europe right after it. Conversationosaurus Rex says, I don't like pushing conspiracies, but personally I feel YouTube has a vendetta against you based on the lack of notifications people get and other things. I think others struggle with it as well, but I do think, I've said all along, I think there's an entire major disconnect between YouTube and the policies that the people up here make and the way that they're employed down here. The frontline people have way too much power, and that's just what happened to me. I'm convinced of it, with having a permanent warning on the channel and stuff. That was just because somebody working as a mod at YouTube decided they didn't like me for whatever reason, and they can do that. Chrome says, so how broken is this man? Hold on, let me grab Chrome's link real quick, guys. Who is this? Oh, that's nice move right there. And that's the right move too. Once you got, that's the whole right move. That guy knows what he's doing. Because a lot of people in that situation, once you caught him coming up over your back and stuff, will just turn and like judo throw him onto the ground. But no, that Samoan drop shit on on, on cement like that. Oh yeah, that's the move. I like it. Jill says, "What would you be doing right now if the internet didn't exist?" Oh, I don't know. Probably working out a lot more or watching TV. Probably that was the old days. What you were doing. And Jack says, "Mods are overrated." I hear some mods, not the ones here. Matthew says, "You love Rick and Morty." Sure. Star versus the Force of Evil. I know a little bit about that one. Steven Universe was good. Gravity Falls is amazing. Okay, KO. Let's Be Heroes, Over the Garden Wall. Nope. The Amazing World of Gumball is one of my all-time favorites, as is Adventure Time and Regular Show. Yes, love them. Chrome says, might be wrong, but it's either this month or next month where things will really hit the fan with Chris Chan. There's a really demented troll soon. I might need to post some supplementary video. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Have I gotten around to check out Warframe Chronics? No. No, like I say, I don't. Anytime I have for gaming now will be playing GTA 5 on stream. Have I ever watched Fringe, Repugnant Tone? No. No, I'm not sure. I don't know what that is. Alpha says, where would we be right now if anime didn't exist? Where's my coping mask? Existential crisis in 3, 2, 1. Yeah, I'm with you, pal. I am definitely with you. Especially things like watching that final episode of Anohana today. Whoa, man. That hit the emotion. So I felt like I got hit by a truck after watching that show. After the final episode was so good. Jill says, what YouTube video is your guilty pleasure? I don't know, Jill, that I have any guilty pleasures. My favorite YouTube videos aren't anything that would be considered a guilty pleasure. I played one for you guys the other day in the stream. I love that Phantom of the Opera that Floor Jansen and Hank Port sang. That's probably one of the ones I play the most. So I wouldn't say they're guilty pleasures. They're just pleasures. I don't really have any, in YouTube, that would be a guilty pleasure. I don't have any guilt. You could have said the same thing with porn. I don't feel any guilt about the porn I watch either. I'm not a guilt-ridden person. Excuse me. Let's see. Miguel says the new Dragon Ball game is going to be fire. Which one is this, Miguel? I can't keep track of the titles. Excuse me. Death in My Styrofoam says, what season are you on Attack on Titan? I am just the latest release behind, the latest part of season 4 behind. We'll be catching up with that soon on the Goose. Chrome says, like you won't truly appreciate how demented this one kid troll is until you hear his gloating speech to Chris's face and hearing Chris die inside like it's evil concentrate. Ooh, boy. Yeah, again, I honestly, I look forward to that episode every month so much, and at the same time, I think I get a little terrified of that episode every month. Jill says, what is the way out of the friend zone? That's the $1 million question. I think for a lot of people, there might be ways, but it all depends on the individual circumstances. I do remember the Powerpuff Girls, Matthew. I was not a big fan. They never struck the right chord with me. Jill says, what are you afraid of at 3 a.m.? That I'm just going to be hungry again and get up and eat more? No, I don't have a lot of fears except something bad happening to my family. If I have nightmares, that's what it centers around and everything. I just, as I've said, I'm only 61. I'm not looking to die anytime soon. But now with Spaz Kid grown up and doing so well on his own, when it's my time, it's my time. I've had I've been lucky. I've had a great life. I mean, I may not be a rich guy. I don't have a lot of money or anything like that. But man, I've had some great times between wrestling and comedy, and most of all this, making these videos for all these years and all the fun we've had doing that. I got no regrets. Favorite scary movie is Candyman. I never saw that one, Austin. Which, being Curtis Candy, it's almost it's inexcusable that I have not. Oh, the Dragon Ball Abridged was great, Chronix. Absolutely great. I did. Courage the Cowardly Dog I liked a lot, Matthew. Invader Zim was okay. I never really got into that, but Courage was amazing. Yes, I loved Courage. Oh, right. Okay. Big Green says the new upcoming game is Dragon Ball Budokai Tenkaichi 4. It's the first new Budokai Tenkaichi game in 15 years. I might have to look into that. I just, anything to do with Dragon Ball. I find myself missing it now. It's been so long, since I've seen some new Dragon Ball content. Charles says, I have lots of regrets now, and I'm young. At least they aren't illegal, but I'm stuck now. Like, you can't allow yourself to stay stuck, Charles. As you say, you're young. You can work your way past regrets and straighten those regrets out. Yeah, Ashley. She says, did you ever watch the 2000s Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? My older son was into them. So I've seen it here and there. They were okay. They're not something that I was ever real into, but I know a little bit about them. Jack says, I joined when he started DBZA. Was the beginning of his anime boner. 100%. I would have never gotten into anime if it weren't for you guys. You guys had to talk me into watching DBZA. And not that I had anything against anime. It's just that it's like, there's never something I got into. And again, I don't know why, considering I've loved cartoons my whole life. And you guys kept saying DBZA, DBZA. And I said, but I haven't seen the original. And you guys kept saying, but you don't have to have seen the original, fat man. I was like, all right, I'll try it. Yeah, well, that was it. Everything was over after that. Tori says, can you tell us how amazing Spaz Kid's fiance is? She's great. She's a sweet, sweet girl. Very smart girl, too. Vinny says, I tried watching One Piece, but the animation was too much for me to get into. Really, Vinny? Oh, I love it. I love everything about it. I first got introduced to One Piece back when we could do the old reaction video streams, and the gang would show me clips. And what immediately hit me, it always stuck with me, was I excuse me, loved the character designs. They were just so unique and different and cool to me. And that's what really initially got me hooked into it. Charles says, I think you're like the only old person, no offense taken. I don't get offended at things that are truths, pal. That's true. I'm old. That loves anime. You drew me to your channel because of your shirts. I'm the only old person I know that likes anime, other than a couple of members of the Goose that I know are older, around my age, and like it. But other than that, I don't know any in my day-to-day, face-to-face life. Rigid Rat said, do you think your body fat is more made up of pizza fat or burger fat? As a fat man myself, I'd respect either answer. Yeah, I'd have to go with both. I don't think one can top the other. Cookies got to be in there too. Jack says, we're going to take Spaz Kid hostage to get him to watch DBZA. I still say we do it. Anbu says, hey, Curtis, hope you've been good. I have. I've been fighting some heart issues. Oh, sorry to hear that, pal. Jesus Christ, I hope everything works out for you. Tori Little says, has anyone suggested Moral Oral for the Goose? I know that name. I need Curtis to be as hurt as everyone else that's watched that show. No, I don't think anyone's mentioned that. I don't think it's ever come up in the nominations or polls for a series over there. Hi, Twilight7. I'm doing good. Matthew says, which anime do you love better? Naruto, DBZ, One Piece, Avatar, Fairy Tail, or My Hero? Well, Fairy Tail we haven't started yet. I'll be starting that soon. Excuse me. With those, they're all elite. In there, you put things like Hunter x Hunter. And as I said, it's hard for me to say favorite because it depends on my mood. You're talking entirely different types of entertainment. And what really surprised me right now, this arc we're doing over at the Goose right now in Gintama, I think that's going to be in my top 10 favorite arcs of all time. Even if I don't know where Gintama will end up ranking for me as far as an anime, but this arc is amazing. Really, really good. And that'll be a top 10 arc for me. So you never know where the next thing that really hits is going to come from. Chrome says, I do wonder what your thoughts on Bob, Chris's dad, will be later. He's one of the few people I feel bad for. He had one of the worst deaths imaginable, in all honesty. Ooh, wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. Oh, boy. Yeah, it sounds like we're really going to be diving deep into some creepy, creepy shit. Jill says, what's the dumbest insult you said or heard? Oh, geez, I don't know, Jill. I wouldn't know off the top of my head. I mean, I've been around a long time, delivered a lot of insults and received a lot of insults. I don't... I guess just in general, and maybe it's just the way I am, but when people try to insult me with things like fat ass, and they think they're insulting me, it's like, that's not insulting, that's true. I don't get insulted. It's an honest assessment. It was just like when we had that weirdo in the other day, and he was getting out of line, so I fucking ripped into him. And he comes back and he says, because it was just after Spazkid had gotten engaged. He says, I hope your son's marriage doesn't work out. It's like, do you really think that affects me in every way? It doesn't matter what you hope. Hope anything you want. Hope that someday you have a personality. Hope that someday a giant meteor comes out of the sky and strikes me. Hope anything you want. It doesn't have an effect. I don't care about your hope. And people think they actually said something of significance with stuff like that. That's always been curious to me. I hope you die. Well, guess what? You hoping that I'm going to die isn't going to kill me or affect how long I live. So why do I care what you hope? So I guess that's why a lot of insults just fall flat to me. I've never understood why people get upset about stuff like that. Anbu says, on a positive note, I may be moving to North Carolina from New Mexico. Oh, I used to live in New Mexico. I like it here better. Yeah, I do like North Carolina better. Yes, of course, I follow hell of a boss. So yes, that reaction will be coming up soon. Yeah, Willie. Curtis, you look nice today. Ooh, got him. Yeah. See, I've never understood that. Like, again, you calling me old. You fucking old man. Yeah, I'm old. Fat man. Yeah, I'm fat. Bald man. Yeah, I'm bald. And if you call me something I'm not, I'm just going to laugh at you because you're inaccurate. So it's not offensive to me. Oh, Willie got him. He did. Alpha says, aren't you a Star Wars fan? Clone Wars would be an epic series to watch. Not really a fan, Alpha. I watched the first three that were released as films. I know they aren't the actual first three in the series, but the first three that were released as movies, loved them. But it was just over time, and it was never on purpose. I just kind of fell away from it. I would see another movie here or there, so I know a lot about those initial three. And then after that, it's just spotty what I know of this show. Z Production says, any suggestions for anime? My first anime was Hunter x Hunter, and it seems like no other anime has been able to compare. Well, you're right there with me. I mean, Hunter x Hunter is at my elite tier too. If you liked Hunter x Hunter, though, I would suggest Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. If you haven't seen that, that's an amazing anime as well. And if you liked Hunter x Hunter, I think you're going to like FMAB. Philip says, have you heard of the anime Tomo-chan is a Girl? That name sounds familiar, Philip. So somebody must have mentioned it at some point, but I don't really know anything about it. yeah, right, Big Green. Curtis, you watch anime. Cutting. Devastating insults. Yeah, I've never gotten that. I know that bothers a lot of people. To be told something like that, oh, it's a big deal now. You can't put KYS in a chat anywhere on any social media or anything. Your account gets banned, which I understand if they want to do that. But hell, I used to get anybody on YouTube got KYS all the time. I'd laugh. Oh, fuck that. Why do I care if somebody says kill yourself? It's not going to have any influence on what I do in my life. Do they really think I was going to read that and go, oh, shit, good idea. Where's a knife? I don't care. Kaiser says, what anime didn't live up to their reputation as much as you had thought? See, now that's where it's tough for me, only, Kaiser, because you guys have selected everything I've watched. So that's why I've liked everything I've seen. What I'm just trying to think of something that maybe I can tell you something that exceeded expectations. I guess the only one would be I always forget the name of it. You guys have to remind me. The boobs and butt fighting anime there with the girls. That was fun for about an episode or two. And then it just and nobody loves boobies more than I do. But it just got boring. And I guess I expected more. Keijo, thank you, Chrome. Yes, Keijo. There was hype for Keijo, Big Green, before I watched it. I had heard from a lot of people, oh, you're going to love this. It's the titties are great, but the story's fun. It's like, nah, the story wasn't fun to me. So I guess that would be it, Keijo. Another one that didn't live up for me, and nothing against it, just didn't strike with me. I did think of one other, is No Game, No Life. I know a lot of people love NGNL. And don't get me wrong, it wasn't a waste of time watching it. I enjoyed it while I watched it. But it wasn't as good as I'd hoped going into it, especially because I usually love anime that take place within the world of video games and stuff. So those would be the only two. Vinny says, Eki action animes are always the best 100%. Well, yeah, think of the name. Oh my gosh, guys, I'm vapor lock. Oh, there's a big surprise. I'm vapor locking again. The greatest ecchi anime of all time. Why is the name out of my head? That's good. This is DxD. Thank you, guys. DxD. That's funny. Now, see, that's one thing I can tell you with post-concussion. I can tell the difference between a memory lapse of normality that everybody has. Because for me, if I have a normal memory lapse, I'll sit and you think for a little bit and little pieces come back to you. If I'm having something just blanked out by brain damage, it's a black wall, like that was. I couldn't remember Issei's name. Now, as soon as you said DxD, it all came back to me. But it's weird. As soon as you guys said High School DxD, all the memories come flooding back. But it wouldn't have come back without it. It's a weird thing. But yes, DxD, not only for the titties, because again, there's plenty of titties in Keijo too. I just liked it. I've always thought DxD was a blast. It was fun. I love the characters. Interspecies Reviewers was great too, Philip. That exceeded expectation. I thought that'd be fun, but that exceeded expectation because the comedy was so spot on in that. It was really funny. Chrome says, Curtis, it's time for your daily reminder. Don't kill yourself today. Tomorrow's always another day and another chance. Vinny says you'll wake up at 1 a.m. to pee and remember the name of the show. Yes. Z says, how old are you? I know you should never ask a Curtis this. Why? But I got to know. I am 60 fucking 1. Whew. I can't even believe it. Madman, yes, that is your fan art in the thumbnail. Absolutely. I love that. I love that drawing. I love it. Oh, Rigid Rat says, who do you think would win in a fight between Shrek and Peter Griffin? I got to go with Peter. Peter's too psychotic. Shrek's bigger and stronger, but Peter's a fucking lunatic. Big Green says, I loved Interspecies Reviewers, and I didn't expect to because I don't really watch ecchi anime. Yeah, Big Green. I like the ecchi aspects of anime, obviously, but I liked it because of the humor. It was funny as hell. Rigid Rat says, you're over double my age. I'm almost 30. Sad but true. Miguel says, have you heard of Medica Box? These characters are way too overpowered than any other characters I've seen before. No, I'm not. I don't know that one. Connor says you don't look 61. Well, thanks. You don't look anywhere close to that, but I think you're an amazing person and everything. Well, thanks. I appreciate that. Ashley says, hey, Curtis, do you have any advice on how to become a nicer person in a more cheerful manner? Should I emulate someone? For me, no, I don't like emulating people. It's like, for the good or the bad, I just want to be the only Curtis, not the next somebody else. For the most part, I'm happy. What you guys see here, I've told you guys, I'm always upfront with you about everything. This is what you get. I am happy most of the time, and that's by choice. For me, it's just like life is too short for me to allow things to get me down. Do I get, just like I talk about the road rage, do I get down or get angry? Sure, like anybody else says, but it's fleeting for me. It goes away quick. You guys have seen me get annoyed with people here. And the problem with, I don't know if it's a problem, I'm comfortable with it. If somebody comes on, just like here in chat, disrespect is the big thing for me. And I'll put up with disrespect towards me to a certain degree. And then I'll go after them. And when they're disrespectful to our crew here, I will go after them in a way that I will do my best to verbally give them pain. And that's something it's nothing to be proud of, but I'm pretty good at. Because I've long been a real student of the psychology within writing, the way someone writes. And you'd be surprised if you're really careful and really pick up on the little nuances in the way somebody structures something, even in the written word, you can pick up a lot about their personality in a short period of time. Tori says, you want disrespect? I can see the future isn't funny anymore. Oh, Tori, thanks for being in with us while you could. You're gone. No, I'm like... Willy says, one show that exceeded every expectation was Dress Up Darling. That was good. I wasn't expecting another ecchi, but it was a wholesome romance that I loved from start to finish. That was really good. Yeah, good characters in there. Great relationship. Yep. Yeah, I remember that, Big Green. I still remember the Cyclops episode of Reviewers where they thought they were choosing breast size, but it ended up being eye size. Yes. That's what I mean. That was just funny. Interspecies Reviewer was freaking hysterical, and I didn't expect that. I didn't think it was going to be that funny. Conversationosaurus Rex says, well, you and another YouTuber I watch are both the same age. Oh, cool. It's funny, too, since you both are bold and have a goatee. His name is Larry Lawton, America's biggest jewel thief robber. Oh, somebody mentioned him before, Rex. I didn't know who he was. It was in a stream. Somebody mentioned him. So I looked him up. Yeah, I know who you mean now. Somebody had mentioned him before. BoJack Horseman? Probably not, just because, again, people just were not interested at all at the YouTube channel in it. Ouch. Larry's a cool guy. Yeah, he seemed to be. I just, excuse me. You guys mentioned him, and after the stream, I went and I watched a little bit. Yeah, he seemed like a good dude. Chrome says something not to be proud of, but it's funny. How can something that makes you laugh be bad? Nothing wrong with protecting the people you like. True. Austin says, when did you first start doing YouTube in your first video? We started in May of 2011, this channel. I had my Curtis Candy channel before that, but I didn't post a lot to it. And it was at the time that Call of Duty was the rage on YouTube. And the only reason we started it was I was watching, I like Call of Duty. And I noticed that all the YouTubers doing Call of Duty were pros. You know, they were excellent at it, and that was their rub. Well, I sucked. So I thought, hey, it'd be funny to start a channel with somebody who just sucks at the game, and that's how it all started. Jack says there's new evidence in psychology that people who use the word bruh seriously are more likely to be narcissists. Fun to have in writing. Yeah, really. I didn't know that. I think I could see that. Kaiser says Larry was so chill, and man, he really makes you not wish prison on almost anyone, save for a few obvious deserving people. Really? Yeah, like I say, he seemed like a good dude. I just glanced at some of his videos and stuff, but seemed like a good dude. All right, guys. Well, I got to go because I'm really getting hungry now. And it's frozen pizza time. Yeah, so that's the plan. That will be probably my final form of entertainment or reaching out with entertainment is we will be doing the OnlyFans thing. We'll see how it goes. I think it'll be fun. It'll certainly be fun to make content and have no worries about what's involved in the content or what I say or do. Because you guys know that my sense of humor can be really, really super freaking twisted. and I have to check it all the time here because I don't want to lose the channel. I won't be I won't be checking it there. Definitely won't be for everybody, but there will be a lot of boobies, a lot of crass humor, a lot of dark humor, and I'll let you guys know when it gets started. But yes, thank you guys for hanging out with me. Thanks for all the great questions. I got to remember to do these on the regular. I like these Ask Me Anything ones. You guys always come up with great stuff. It spurs good conversation as well. But thanks for hanging out with me. I got to go have my frozen pizza. First, I have to pick the pepperoni off the top. It's a 3-meat pizza. 3 meats. But when you get to be my age, pepperoni makes your guts go, fuck you, what did you do that for? So I have to pick them off first. Huh, tough being me. I'll talk to you guys later.